Last thing I remembered was the blinding, sterile white of headlights and the metallic crunch of a universe collapsing. It was the sound of my own ending. A mundane tragedy, a tired driver, a rainy Tuesday, a woman crossing the street. I expected the void. I expected fire or pearly gates or perhaps just the infinite, silent dark of non-existence. Instead, I was bobbing. A gentle, rhythmic swaying dominated my new reality. I had no hands to inspect, no legs to kick. I felt light. Impossible, unmoored, and terrifyingly buoyant. My vision was a fish-eyed distortion of crimson hues, the world viewed through a curved, translucent red filter. I tried to scream, to ask where I was, but I had no lungs. My voice was trapped inside a spherical prison, reverberating only as a dull internal vibration. What is this? The silent shriek of a thought echoed in my prison as I panicked, thrashing, which only resulted in me spinning wildly on a vertical axis. I was tethered. A thin, golden thread anchored me to a heavy mahogany desk cluttered with parchment and strange, smoking vials. I was a balloon, a goddamned red balloon. The absurdity of it threatened to shatter whatever consciousness I had left. I had died and been reincarnated as Party Dacre. But the air inside me, no, the gas did not feel inert. It felt alive. It pulsed with a strange, static energy that prickled against my thin skin. The sound tore through the silence of the dusty, stone-walled room. My attention, or the front-facing curve of my sphere, snapped toward the noise. Perched atop a bookshelf filled with leather-bound grimoires was a monkey, but not a zoo monkey. This thing was a nightmare of matted fur, glowing green eyes, and vestigial bat wings. It chattered, bearing needle-like teeth, its gaze locked onto me. It knew what I was, it knew I was fragile. It leaped. The creature landed on the desk, scattering quills and ink. It bounded toward me, claws extended, screeching that unholy sound again. Fear spiked hot and instantaneous, but then came something else, indignation. I had lived a life of caution, paying taxes and looking both ways, only to be flattened by a truck. And now in the afterlife I was about to be popped by a demonic primate. A single, defiant thought solidified in the chaos. No, immense rage filled my helium. It was not just anger, it was a physical expansion. The gas inside me heated, turning volatile. The molecules vibrated with violent intent. As the monkey swiped its claw at my delicate red skin, I did not pop, I pushed back. A shockwave of static electricity, blue and crackling, exploded from my surface. It was not a biological defense, it was raw, unrefined magic. The monkey shrieked, blasted backward by the concussion. It slammed into a stack of books, smoke rising from its singed fur. Enough. The voice was deep, a baritone rumble that vibrated through my tether and straight into my core. The heavy oak door of the study swung open and a man stepped in. He was massive. That was my first thought. He wore robes of midnight blue, open at the chest to reveal pale skin scarred by what looked like lightning burns. His hair was long, dark, and tied back carelessly, framing a face that was severe, angular, and currently twisted in annoyance. He marched to the desk, grabbing the dazed monkey by the scruff of its neck and tossing it unceremoniously into a cage in the corner. Then he turned his storm-gray eyes on me. He loomed over the desk, smelling of ozone and old paper. He leaned in close, his face distorted through my red curvature. "A defensive ward," he muttered, his voice dropping to a velvety rasp. I did not program a defensive ward into the containment sphere. He reached out, his fingers long and calloused. I flinched, or tried to. I bobbed away from his touch, the static inside me still humming. He froze, his eyes narrowed, intelligent and dangerous. "It moved," he whispered, "not by the draft," it recoiled. He circled the desk, his gaze intense, stripping me bare. Did the soul trap actually work? Did I catch a stray wind spirit? He reached into his pocket and pulled out a long, silver needle. The tip glinted in the candlelight. "Only one way to find out," he said, bringing the needle toward my skin. "If you're just trapped gas, you will dissipate. If you are something else, well, this is going to hurt." The needle moved closer. I screamed a silent, desperate plea, my internal pressure rising to a critical point.
Want to keep the flame ignited without having to wait for the next part? You can find the full, tantalizing tale on our main page. See the link in the description.